welcome back to another edition of Inside Great Lakes Sailing. My name is Greg Norman, your host. Well, the vacations are over. We get a chance to ski through the holidays. We did have a little bit of warm weather, but I thought we had a great vacation. Now we're at early January, and we're back on the boards, and hopefully we get a chance to bring you a few more shows. This one is going to be hopefully a fun show to watch. We're going to bring you a variety of discussions. We got a chance to spend some time with demo days at the Highlands. We're going to bring you a variety of folks, including John Thompson from Shaggy. Shaggy's going to explain us a little bit about a width of a shovel on a pair of skis that you're going to be really surprised when you see it. And so spend some time with that. That'll be pretty cool. We also got a chance to spend some time with the ski school folks at Petoskey at Nubs Knob, who were just named the Central PSIA Ski School of the Year. We'll chance with them. And we're going to finally finish up with the former general manager at Nubs Knob, Jim Bartlett. Jim spent some time with us. We ran into him over the holidays. Jim is now a consultant after spending about 35 years as one of the best snowmakers, certainly in the Midwest, if not the country. And Jim's going to explain a little bit about the cost of business and what it's like to move from, sort of a daily job being a ski manager into a consultant. And as he mentioned to us, he's been had the lucky enough time to get up to Alyeska and up in Alaska several times over the last year. So we spent a little time with Jim catching up, and I think that'll be a great conversation. Couple of things we noticed over the holidays. If you look at this, I ran across a guy who was locking up his skis the correct way. We checked in with some ski resorts, and theft seems to be at a little higher level as skis get to be towards those four figures. Make sure you lock your skis up, and they've got all kinds of security, but make sure that you do a job of covering those skis and making sure they get locked up, or at least put in a place where somebody can't walk away with them. So I think this guy had the right idea for sure. And our favorite Marvel, I'm not sure if it's Marvel or not, but Batman was back on the slopes this week. We got a chance to get a picture of him. And hopefully over the next 8 or 9 or 10 weeks before spring comes, you get a chance to see Batman ski. He's a really fun guy, and I don't have any idea who it is, but hopefully we can maybe get an interview with Batman at some point. There was some sad news recently. Patty Costigan, a longtime high school ski coach at Country Day, passed, and Patty was probably one of the most well-liked coaches and mentors in the ski racing, high school ski racing and custom racing business. Patty will be missed greatly. Here's a picture of Patty and some folks from East Grand Rapids, Casey McGovern. And her husband, Dan, passed about a decade ago, and now Patty's gone. They were two of the kindest, nicest, gentle creatures you'd ever want to meet, and will be sorely missed. So say a prayer for Patty if you can, and the family. Our best wishes are with them, and we wish them all that you can expect at this kind of a time in their lives. Up next is a little bit about MRA skis and the ski school at Nubs Knob, and then after that we'll bring you a little time with Jim Bartlett. We'll be right back.
Hey there, my name is Cyrus Schenk, the owner and founder of Renowned Skis, and today I'm at ARDL Labs, who have been testing our skis to help us optimize and perfect Vibe Stop. So behind me here is a ski on a shaker table, and essentially what that means is that it moves the ski at a certain frequency and amplitude, and we put accelerometers on there, we measure that, and it tells us what's shaking, what's not, and how we can improve that with putting more Vibe Stop or less Vibe Stop. It's actually really straightforward, but it's one of those things that no ski company does. People take a ski, they go skiing, and they say, that was fun, that was not. We're taking this into a lab, understanding the real data behind skiing to perfect and optimize what is actually a really high-tech material. The first step here is to get a baseline. We want to figure out how our skis are performing at a numerical, quantitative level. We'll first do some vibration testing to understand where and how the ski is exactly shaking so we can implement more or less Vibe Stop in specific areas to help decrease vibrations in the areas that are most important. Once we figure all this out, it's back to the production floor where we'll build and test 5 new variations just to find out the perfect one. And then, once we do, we'll implement this enhanced Vibe Stop across our entire product lineup. At the end of the day, we're just a bunch of nerds that we're taking ski science and material science and putting them together so that you can have the best ride of your life.
We are talking with Raquel Dobry, who is in her first year as the director of the ski school here at Nubs Knob, and a pretty prestigious award. I know you've been here 12 years, you've been around this place for a while, but you're School of the Year for the Midwest, am I correct on that?
Central Division, all the way down to Louisiana.
What's your thoughts?
I'm very proud of my instructors. They work really hard out here, making sure all our students are having fun, and they're constantly improving their own skiing, which comes into play a lot with the folks at PSIA. And
what kind of criteria do you need to win this kind of an award? What do they base it? What do they judge you on?
Yeah, it was judged on our instructors' commitment to the organization, our school's commitment to the organization, industry involvement, community involvement.
Okay. Obviously, the school ski has been here a long time, and it's a very successful ski school. You're taking over for some legendary guys that were before you. Certainly, you know that better than I do. And my question is, if I'm a person watching this show, why should I sign up for a PSIA lesson as compared to having my wife teach me, or my husband, or my cousin Ernie?
Yes, we have a full staff of professionals here that teach the PSIA progression.
Where are price points? Just that curious. If I'm taking a lesson, say an individual lesson or maybe a group lesson.
So individual lessons, $120 for an hour and a half, no matter your age or ability. The only group lessons we do are our Ski Odyssey program for beginners. Recommend anybody that's a first timer signs up for that. That begins after the holidays, so the first session will be the second Saturday in January. And if you complete 2 successful Odyssey lessons, you get the opportunity to get a $100 bargain pass and $100 off a new ski setup at Bahnhof in Petoskey.
Any women's programs?
Yes, new this year we have a Women's Ski Wednesday program for Wednesday mornings and Wednesday evenings. Really excited about that. It's sold out for some sessions and getting there for the rest.
Okay, well, appreciate your time and congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, Greg.
As a former ski racer, I spent my whole life perfecting the carved turn. But now as a recreational skier, skiing powder and different terrain, I know that there's benefits to learning how to put a little slide or skid into your turns. It can help you slow down when you need it. When you make a perfectly carved turn, you're generating speed. A ski has camber, you're bending the ski, and when you release the turn, it accelerates you into the next one. But when you slide a turn, it dissipates the energy in the ski, and you'll help yourself slow down. So tactically, it's a great tool to have to slide on top of a turn in the moguls or going too fast down a really steep run. Some people describe it as buttering the turn. You kind of just stay with it a little longer. You don't make it so quick. You just smooth it out. Sometimes sliding or skidding your turn can be good. It can help control your speed.
Hi, welcome back. We are at Boyne Highlands. There's a big, huge demo day here at the bottom of what is the new chair. And we are spending some time with a variety of companies and finding out what's hot in the ski market. This morning we were across the street at Nubs with our new Anomaly from Blizzard, and I can tell you that it is an unbelievable ski. We've been a chance to do some demos this early part of the season, and we're pretty happy with the ski we've got. A little bit of crud, and having been on race skis most of my life, I got on a little bit longer, wider ski, and oh my gosh, was it easier for an old guy. So we get a chance to check those out. And we're going to give you some insight to what some of the skis that are being built. I think you're going to find some real interesting information from Shaggy. John Thompson talks to us a little bit about their new fun carver. We also talked to the guys from Head. Stay tuned and we'll bring that to you and hopefully learn a little bit about skis. The Patty from Atomic, and I'm going to put this into the bloops later and you'll understand why we're talking to Patty from Atomic. And we were just talking, we're out here at Highlands for a demo day, and you've got a ski out, and we're talking a little bit about a recreational racer. So maybe explain what the ski is.
So this is our Redster Q 9.8. This is the same construction as our recreational race skis, not our Fiskies, but similar idea. This is 84.5 underfoot, so it's a wider ski than most race skis are.
Okay.
So this will go through all of the crud that we get in the Midwest, but also it goes through powder grate, and it also carves like a race ski, and it's unbelievable. Okay, we also have the Bent Chetler 100, which is our #1 selling ski in the world.
Okay.
And it is designed by our athlete, Chris Bent Chetler, who's been with Atomic for over 15 years. He came on as like a free rider kind of kid, and he started skiing on Atomic and started designing the skis. They're all wood, they're all mountain. He's also an artist, and his artwork is all over. And so he does all the artwork that is on the Bent Chetler on the top and also on the base.
Okay. One of the obvious questions I want is, I'm looking down your rack, you can see some race skis.
Yes,
You guys are at the top of the world in terms of racing.
yes,
Does that help or hurt the retail business?
it helps.
Okay.
Yes.
I would think it does, but not the average recreational skier can get on an Atomic race ski.
Correct.
Makes it difficult, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So in this line, the Q Series, this is great because we make our race skis and we make them in softer and softer and softer flexes. So if somebody wants to be on a ski that's like a race ski, but they're not an aggressive, they're more intermediate, we have a ski that suits them.
Okay. Appreciate your time. We are talking with Tom Eman, who's the head representative for this part of the world. Tom, we're talking about skis. What's your hot ski for head this year?
Hot ski this year from us is the New Invade Head Core. It comes only from an 87 underfoot all the way to 118 underfoot. But the construction's a little bit different. What we use in pretty much all of our skis, a material called graphene. That we're the only manufacturer that actually can use the material called graphene.
What is it?
So graphene's a man-made material that it lets us take other heavier materials out of the ski and put graphene into it, but make it feel like it's a metal ski,
Okay.
but also ski like it's a heavy, big, beefy metal ski.
So lighter.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Lighter obviously translates.
Yep.
You say all the way to 118. We're talking powder skis.
Yep.
What's your range in the Midwest? Because I think when you start approaching 105, it's a little wide. Yes.
Pretty much range in the Midwest is for us in our category 87 to 99.
Okay.
Yep.
Simple question. If you watch a World Cup race, head is all over the place.
Yep.
Does that help make your job easier?
It does a little bit because race sells out so fast that a lot of people don't realize they got to get in there in August and September. But it does in that aspect. But when it comes to us in November and they're looking for a race equipment, we don't have any out.
Right.
And it's already sold out. It makes it a little bit more difficult in that aspect. But for sales, yes.
What do you love about your job?
I love interacting with all the people and seeing people having a great time on the snow and having a good day.
Okay. Tom, appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We are talking to John Thompson from Shaggy.
Yeah.
And John, we're kind of old friends. We used to coach against each other, but
Actually, it's been a while, but we have history.
we're going to talk a little bit about your new product,
Yep.
which is for 2000. So maybe
Yep.
explain what it is.
This is our fun carver. It's we call it a slalom cut ski that you can ski on crud, which is not normal. Typically your slalom ski, you want to ski on hardpack, where this you can take into any kind of condition out there on the hill and still rip beautiful slalom turns.
Okay, I don't think I've ever seen a shovel that wide.
Yeah.
So let's start with that.
Yeah, that's a beauty. It's about 150, and it really engages the turn really quickly. So when you start thinking turn, it's already doing it.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what that shovel does.
If it's like a slalom, are we skiing it in slalom sizes?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, we tell everybody you can downsize on this ski.
Okay.
We do make it in 3 different sizes. We make it in a 180, a 174, and a 168. The 168 is pretty much where most slalom skis are. A standard race ski is.
What are you underfoot on this?
This is 88 underfoot.
Okay, so still good stability.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And people are skiing it in the crud, skiing it even in deep snow. They're out having fun on it. But it's meant, that's where the name comes, fun carver. You get on it, it's a lot of fun. You start thinking about it, and with the tail, you can really drive some power into that ski. And like I say, with that big wide tip on it, you start thinking about that turn, and it's doing it. So
Okay, so you've been around ski design for a while. You guys have been doing this. Somebody, maybe you, comes up with a 150 width in the shovel. I got to believe that you're kind of laughed out of the room the first time. Is that fair?
Yes, absolutely. When we thought about it, it was like, oh, this, we got it to a 13-meter turn radius. So
right.
It's like we went 88, and we're like, that's going to make a hell of a big shovel at the tip. So, the geometry of the ski just works, and it works well.
Okay.
So that was where we thought, let's just go for it. We did make one for a custom ski a few years ago, well, quite a few years ago, for a guy, and it was probably, it was probably a 160 at the shovel, and that was what he wanted.
Right.
And he's like, man, this ski's great, I love it. So eventually we turned it into, hey, this ski is something that people can go out and have fun on and still ski that slalom type of skiing, but yet be able to do it. We think of it as like a 4-wheel drive slalom ski.
Before you get on it the first time, there has to be some intrepidation.
Oh, yeah.
Now you're on it, and it obviously skis like a dream.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
We get on it, and people come back, and they're like, holy cow, I can't believe that ski can do that.
That's big. That's deep breath time.
It is.
Like it worked, because it could have not worked.
It could have not worked.
Okay.
But when we got that out there, it was like, holy cow, we really hit the mark, I think.
Price point?
This is at $1,000.
Okay.
So it's a little at the higher end of our line, but the performance really shines, so that's where we're at.
We should point out that you can't walk up and down the show here and find much less than $1,000. That's just nothing against it. It's sticker shock, but that's the price of skis now.
Unfortunately, it's about getting out there and doing what you want with it. And when you find that person who wants to go out and have a ski that he can ski like he used to at the race course on the main run, and be able to get some power out of the tail of that ski. It's one of the things that people look for as ex-racers or things like that.
All right, thanks, Sean. We're talking with Carl Richter. He's with Blizzard, and we're here with the Highlands guys. Carl, what are you with, and talk a little bit about the ski.
All right, so this particular ski that I have in my hand is our Anomaly 88. So 88, obviously 88 millimeters underfoot. This is an all-new construction for us this year. This went ahead and replaced our previous skis, which would have been our Cochis, the Bonafide, and the Brahmas. So as far as a great Midwest ski, the Brahma was always one, so we went ahead with the Anomaly, we did the Anomaly 88. Another great Midwest, even out east ski. The width gives you plenty of float, gives you a lot of stability at higher speeds. And with the construction that we have, we do still have 2 layers of metal in it. The metal has changed. So instead of having 2 solid pieces of metal in the ski, we are also doing their flux form. So it pretty much distributed the metal a little bit differently this time around. Also, we've got our True Blend, our All Mountain True Blend core, which each individual length has an individual core to itself.
Okay.
So,
And the Brahma was a beast, lack of a better term. It was an unbelievable ski. This seems to be, I'm saying this because I was on this today, and it's the best ski I've ever been on. It is not as, it's as beefy, it tracks as well, but it's not quite, it's less race-like.
They went ahead and with the new construction, with the new core, the new flux form metal, they also went ahead and give it a little bit more rocker in the tip and the tail, made it a little bit more playful, a little bit more user-friendly.
Okay.
So when the Bull Series came out, they wanted that ski. It was a free ride ski. It was to go out and have a lot of fun. As years come on, they've kind of gotten away from that. But we brought that back, made this a bit more user-friendly, a little bit more rocker in the tip and the tail. Also, instead of having to we rounded out the tail a little bit more, makes the ski easier to release.
Okay.
Coming out of a turn.
All right. Appreciate your time.
just repair injuries, we look within to harness the body's own power to heal and decipher the delicate balance of tendon, cartilage, and bone. Developing new treatments so you recover faster. The Steadman Clinic and Steadman Philippon Research Institute. The future of orthopedic medicine is here.
We see athletes as the ones that set goals. Goals in the recovery of a life-altering injury. The individuals that redefine the magic of getting back up. Those that reframe their own recoveries to not be identified by their disability, but by what they will find next as their new ability to succeed. We are High Fives, the safety net of the outdoor sports community.
Hi, welcome back. We're getting a chance to chat with probably the best administrative managerial guru of ski resorts in the Midwest, if not the country, and longtime general manager at Nubs Knob, Jim Bartlett. Jim, I appreciate you taking a couple times out. And we're kind of stopping in with some locals. We had a chance to interview Scott Winquest a few weeks ago, along with some of the big guys like Tommy Mose. And we're just kind of checking in with some of the Michigan guys. And you've gone from a resort manager long time, from 77 till 7 years ago. And now you're in an interesting business. You're kind of a consultant. Is that a fair term?
Oh, absolutely. I was number one, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for letting me pitch in a little bit. And congrats for the job you're doing of spreading the word about skiing. Good for you. But I got into it actually when the insurance company that does most of the private independent resorts in North America asked me to join their loss control team after I retired. A number of the programs we've done at Nubs have been very successful, giving us one of the lowest accident rate per 100 values around. And so they asked me to join the team. And I'm telling you, it's a dream job for a guy like me. I love to ski. I love to travel. And I'm very engaged with the business still. So I get to travel on their dime all around the country and talk to operators about how they're running the programs, how they're handling their risk, and the things that they're doing to try and make the skiing as safe as we can for everybody out there.
Are there a lot of similarities? And I guess I'm asking this question because it's just one that popped in my head. You've ran a 427-foot hill for years, and now you're dealing with obviously some. Is there much difference in running an operation with, it's got a 3,000 vertical versus a 400? It's all pretty much the same.
Its scale is it. And like most things, it comes down to people. A place that's got 4,000 feet of vert and 4,000 acres of skiing, it still needs good people out there doing what they need to do to make it happen every day. And whether it's Mount Brighton or the Back Bowls of Vail doesn't make any difference. You still got to have good folks out there. And that's what the name of the game is all about.
You're the oldest of 8, and I don't think your family skied. How did you find yourself to the bottom of the scale?
Well, like a lot of good stories, it started with a blonde in high school, and she skied and I didn't, and out we go to Mount Brighton, and had a great time. There I am in my leather jacket and my 8-foot scarf, trying to keep it from getting tangled up in a rope tow. Went to Western Michigan. Had no money, paying my own way through school, and I'm sitting in the ski club meeting, and a guy walks out in a rusty parka, starts talking about something. I had no idea what he was talking about. All I heard was free lift tickets. I stuck up my hand, and the next thing you know, I'm a national ski patroller.
You ended up, I think, out at Big Sky, didn't you, as a pro patroller for a while?
I did. I started my first paycheck came from Boyne in 1972 when I went up to the Highlands as a pro. Worked for Jim Dilworth, which turned out to be a lifelong relationship as time went on. And then when Boyne bought Big Sky in '76, I'm out there as the APD for the patrol and had a great time. Loved the mountains. But once you get hooked on freshwater and sailing and boating in Lake Michigan and Lake Superior, it's pretty hard to stay. So I ended up coming back when the opportunity at Nubs came up in the fall of '77.
The sister show to this is Inside Great Lakes Sailing, which we've done about 140 shows. Had a chance to spend some time this year at both the Olympics and Barcelona. So we certainly share a love of the water, and where you guys are, there's not much better. A couple of folks have told me local. If you really sit in Petoskey and Harbor and look out, I'm not sure there's a better place in the world than. I mean, it certainly marvels and rivals everything that places I've been. Certainly, it's a great place.
I think it's true. As much traveling as I do, heck, I was in Alaska 4 times last year working. Skied all over Europe, skied all over South America, did snowmaking systems from South America up to Alaska, all over the continental U.S. You can't beat here, or I would be living. If I could find a better place, I'd be living there. You can't beat it right here.
If you're the snowmaking guru, Jim Dilworth was really sort of that. He laid the groundwork for a lot of the way the world and the industry works. Am I pretty correct at that?
You are right on the money. There was snowmaking before Dilworth came along, but he invented, when he was working at Boyne, the fan gun, the first barrel fan that you now see used all over the planet. That was him. It was while he was the GM at the Highlands. It became the Boyne gun and was marketed and built and sold by Snow Machines Incorporated out of Milford, Michigan, under license from Boyne, USA. And then when Dilworth and I came over from Boyne in '77 to Nubs, working for Walter Fisher, we weren't able to buy that gun from SMI anymore. And so we actually sat down and over the course of the next 4 years, fixed all the problems that we discovered that gun still had and came up with the Nubs gun, which was the first barrel fan gun that had center nucleation and onboard air compressor stuff. And looking at Nubs right now, there's 330 or 40 of them there. And you just have to be in that game, and we're in it big.
Jim, as you're explaining the terms of that apparatus, you sound very much like an engineer. Were you either you or Jim engineers?
Jim definitely. Registered. Okay. He started his career as the working for the Charlevoix County Road Commission. Came out of the engineering school at U of M. Brilliant guy.
Yeah.
He was definitely the brains on this thing. I was a grunt stuff. But we working together, it came up great because he had the concept for the nucleation setups and using the fan, but I was the guy that had to make snow on the hill. So turning that gun into something that could actually make snow and have it work out where we needed it to have work out on the hill, it was a great combination and proved to be very successful.
I don't want to get the economy of scale, but I think with the cost of water as it's gone up over the last decade, the efficiency of those guns has got to be, I would think, a life changer for the sport, because the sport is going in a different direction because Mother Nature is not cooperating. It's just we're getting warmer. That's a fact.
There isn't any doubt about that, Greg, unfortunately. And guys like Mount Bohemia up in the UP that don't make snow are struggling with that. But fortunately, if you've got a good aquifer or access to water, you can mitigate those issues by making snow.
As you look at it from where you sit, I'm asking this question for a couple of reasons. The cost of lift tickets have gone up. Certainly the ski industry has changed. Everybody complains about everything, but yet you're still seeing long lift lines. So I get that part of it. But where do you see the ski industry in the last 5 years has changed? Where do you see? Do you think COVID had a great effect on the industry? In the next 5 years, where do you see the sport going? Do you see the cost of product, in this case, water and the kinds of things is that something that's going to help or hurt the sport?
Well, you have to have it. So it's like steel for a car. You just need to figure out how you're going to make it work with that. The bigger problem in most parts of the country is not the cost of water, it's the availability of it. And that's a real problem, especially as you get west of the Mississippi. Yeah, you know, and you and I have both been around a long time. I mean, I started in the game when I was 18, and I've been through a number of recessions, you know, when I was running Nubs, and I've watched the industry go up and down, and we've been on a roll here the last few numbers of years, more than a decade. And I'm still waiting a little bit for everything to kind of catch up with us some, where there's some correction in the economy that's going to make the business get more competitive, kind of like it used to be, where you would see a larger variety of options for lift tickets, for examples. You know, they've gotten fewer and fewer as time has gone on. But COVID was a big pusher of the business because it forced people outside. It was the only thing you could do. And with skis on, you were already at 6 feet apart. So it was an easy thing for the industry to adapt to. But that push won't last forever, and there will be some downturn sometime somewhere. And I think you see the industry get a little more competitive.
The guns that are obviously producing all the snow, is there any innovation that you've heard about or thought about, or is there any things that are moving in the scientific end of that part of the business?
If there was, we'd be doing it at Nubs. Really, the change is not in how snow has been made, but in or the process of it. It's more of the automation of it, because labor has gotten to be tough and more expensive. You see a number of ski areas going with automated guns, and people like SMI have worked very hard to make that happen. You'll see more and more of that as time goes by, where guys can actually turn their snowmaking system on using their phone. That's a reality right now.
We spent the summer watching Levy and all of the live cameras on YouTube because they snow farm in Levy, Finland. And they push everything to the middle. They put a tarp over it.
Yes.
And I'd read an article someplace in one of the magazines. And I thought, well, we'll watch it. So we've been watching it every night. You know, you sit down with dinner and you throw on and see how the camera looks. And you kind of watch the whole summer. And you can kind of see the mud drop. But when they opened up and they came in October, now we also have to point out their Levy is above the Arctic Circle. So it's a little different climate than it might be here. But they ended up putting down 3.5 foot of base that had lasted the entire summer. So there are some techniques in other places where, you know, environment and temperature allow. They do, you know, like I said, they opened up 2 hills because they have an early season World Cup race. And that's part of the reason that they needed snow quickly.
That's just good thinking, you know, taking advantage of the environment that you're working in. And I think you'll see more and more stuff of that kind of stuff as time goes on. But in terms of how snow is made, the last big real advancement in technology was the fan gun.
Just a couple questions about your career at Nubs. Can you be a great general manager and not be able to handle a lot of things at the same time? I think I imagine just being attention to detail is 90% of what you had to do.
You know, you're running a little city. In Nub's case, when we're busy, we're skiing 5,000 to 6,000 people during a day. So you have to have the electrical infrastructure, the sewer and water infrastructure on it. You're running a food service that has to turn over 3 or 4 times a day to make that happen on that stuff. You've got an uphill capacity in Nub's case of over 18,000 skiers per hour. So there's a huge lift system makes it. All the grooming, all the ski school. There's, you know, tons of employees. But that's what was so much fun for me because, man, there was never a dull moment. I mean, it was always an exciting, adventurous place to be and a great spot to work.
In a normal year as a ski manager, as a general manager at Nubs, how many months? You think like a little bit like a school teacher, you get the summer off, but I know you sailed and you do other summer activities, but it was pretty much a 12-month a year job, was it not?
It is, but we back off in the summertime. The crew and I worked very hard in the winter. I rather would have a smaller, more talented crew that was willing to work hard for the 5 months of winter and then back off and not work a full 40-hour schedule for the rest of the time. So that was kind of our approach with it. Unfortunately, the owner, Walter Fisher, totally bought into it. But you see more and more now with the advent of the difficulty in keeping the winter slopes filled due to weather. A lot of resorts are going into mountain biking, they're going into horseback riding, they're going into anything and everything you can think of to try and keep a revenue stream coming on that. And that means that staff's working year round, and that changes the way you look at things. So,
yeah, I think you have to just be able to, you know, keep people busy. And I look at Marquette as a good example. They've developed over the last maybe 8 to 10 years one of the best mountain biking trail systems in the Midwest, not the country. And they've done, getting at the top of that hill and looking out over Lake Superior, much like Nubs looking over Lake Michigan, is certainly is a great advantage. Well, listen, I appreciate your time. I hope you will have what's left of this winter a great one, and hopefully we'll see you along the trail.
Greg, appreciate you chance to talk with you. Good to see you again, and Happy New Year.
I want to thank Jim for taking some time. Jim was always the kindest to our USSA program back in the day, and there could not have been a better general manager. And we got a chance to talk to him and appreciate his frank conversation. We also, during the holidays, ran into a number of sailors, some big-time racers over the hills. I know Matt Cassidy, who just come back from the America's Cup, is up in Harbor, and he spent some time with his children skiing. We ran into him, and Eric Weinsma. Eric looks like he's going to be back in the 52 fleet with a new boat. So we will have that conversation later on. But it was a great vacation. Now it's time to race, and for all the guys in back, we'll see you next week.